Hello, good morning. I'm Teresa Macbeth, the Director of Strategy, Communication and System Planning at Kingston Health Sciences Centre. Thank you for joining us today. I would like to open this event by acknowledging that the land on which we're gathering today is the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and Mississauga people, and that we are grateful to live, work, and play on these lands. We're very excited to be able to host this event today to celebrate KHSC's 5th anniversary. It seems like just yesterday that we met in this very spot, yet it feels like we've been one happy family all along since we integrated Kingston General Hospital and Hotel Dieu Hospital. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and welcome a few people who have joined us here today in addition to KHSC leaders. I would like to acknowledge Dr. David Pecora, our President and CEO. The KHSC executive team is here. David O'Toole, who was the inaugural KHSC board chair and currently serves as past chair on the KHSC board. Michael Hickey and George Thompson, who both served as co-chairs of the joint steering committee that oversaw bringing together KGH and Hotel Dieu in the first place. Sherry McCullough, KHSC board member. Phyllis Davis, representing the KHSC Patient and Family Experience Advisory Council. Sister Marilyn LaRocque, representing the Religious Hospitallers of St. Joseph. Dr. David Zelt, the former Chief of Staff, who was also part of the KGH Hotel Dieu integration. And Jim Flett, former President and CEO of KGH. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. I'd also like to acknowledge that we're live streaming today's event, and there are many KHSC staff, physicians, and volunteers joining us today. Welcome to you as well. If you or we experience any technical difficulties, know that we are recording this event and we will make it available following the event. It was nearly 5 years ago to this day that we came together to bring Kingston General Hospital and Hotel Dieu together, with our staff gathering here in this very park to mark the official creation of Kingston Health Sciences Centre. At that time, we planted a tree halfway between our two hospital sites to mark this new chapter for our organizations. So it's only fitting that we gather here again today to celebrate our 5th anniversary beside our tree. Traditionally, 5th anniversaries are celebrated with gifts made of wood to celebrate deep, strong roots. How serendipitous is that? This is true for us at KHSC, where we have developed very deep, strong roots together, of which we can be very proud, and which are enabling us to continue to grow and flourish as a leading academic health sciences centre. Now, to officially begin today's event, I would like to invite Sister Marilyn LaRocque, representing the Religious Hospitallers of St. Joseph, who were the founders of the Hotel Dieu Hospital site. Sister Marilyn, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. As we strive to find a new rhythm and remain hopeful during this time of COVID and the Ukraine crisis, we who serve remain inspired and dedicated to one another, our mission, and to our healing ministry for our patients and their families at the Kingston Health Science Centre. Celebrate and take pride in your compassionate accomplishments as an individual and as a team. Thank you for using your remarkable talents and skills to motivate our mutual efforts. Let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is there. And where God is, all will be well, and all manner of things shall be well. God's special blessings as we continue to journey together as our future unfolds for us. Amen.
Thank you very much, Sister Marilyn. I'd now like to welcome President and CEO Dr. David Pecora to bring us his comments.
Good morning and welcome on this very important event, and with weather that's almost identical to what we had 5 years ago. So it's a fitting location and a fitting day in every way to celebrate our 5th anniversary. You know, there's some very special things about KHSC, and probably forefront is our unique model of bringing together the sites and the corporations and the identity of a Catholic hospital and a secular hospital into one organization to bring out the best of both. And we're here to celebrate that. A lot of people watched with interest, I'll say, as we were forming this model, just to see how it would be successful and imagine what it could look like and what sort of stresses and strains we might experience. And so it's really gratifying to all of us today to say that our 5-year experience has been a very challenging time, but KHSC has flourished and grown, and our people have done tremendous things together, bringing out the best of both of our legacy corporations while building something newer and bigger for KHSC. We're really proud of the specialized care that we offer to our patients in the region and the programs that we've started and programs that we've grown over the last 5 years, in spite of all of the stresses of a pandemic and everything that everyone knows so well. It has not been an easy time, but every day our teams have stepped up and responded to the needs, anticipated what the future might hold, and really done a terrific job of caring for our patients and families here in Kingston, throughout the region, and across the province. All of this came at a time, people will remember last spring when COVID was really ramping up, and we were able to help out as part of Team Ontario, bringing over 150 patients here from outside of the Kingston area, mostly from the GTA, and mostly coming into our ICUs and stepping up all of that capacity that was needed to respond to those urgencies. As we prepare for our accreditation next month, I'm really proud of the work that our teams have done to be ready for that. And while we've been doing all of that, our teams have managed to keep front and center in their values, the strategic plan, the mission, vision, and our core values of KHSC, and have those things guide us every day as we're providing care to our patients, looking after our staff to the best that we can. And we all know that the last 6 months in particular have been very stressful to our staff. And we're really wanting to do everything we can to support them as we look to hire and train more people all the time to address the increasing challenges that we see every day. It's also really thrilling to see KHSC grow as a research-intensive hospital with all sorts of innovative accomplishments in the last 5 years, and partnering with Queen's in particular, but many other universities and colleges as we execute that academic mission. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the important roles of our legacy boards. Were it not for their vision and courage to take on this what was perceived as a very risky venture 5 and 6 years ago, but they were fully dedicated to this, and it's to their credit that we were able to launch on this journey and be successful over the 5 years. And in particular, I want to thank our former Dean, Richard Resnick, who's unable to be here today, but he was one of those agents under the radar pushing for this to happen for a number of years. And so credit to him along with our legacy board chairs. So with no further ado, I want to thank everybody for being here today and for the work that you do. And I'd like to pass it over to Sherry McCullough, Vice Chair of KHSC Board.
Thank you, David, and it's my pleasure to be here today to represent the board of Kingston Health Sciences Centre. Our chair, Axel Thesberg, could not be with us, but I would like to say that how incredibly proud our board of directors are of the amazing staff, the physician, the learners, and especially our senior leadership team who have led us through some difficult times and have continued to grow KHSC into the incredible academic healthcare center that it has become today. But in preparing for today, my mind couldn't help but traveling back to early spring of 2015. At that time, I was the board chair of Hotel Dieu Hospital, and Scott Carson was the chair at KGH. And I got a phone call one day from Scott, and he said, maybe we should talk. And I said, sure. So anyway, we had a talk, and that was the beginning. And luckily for both of us, our terms were ending that June. And we had two brilliant lawyers who were going to be filling in for us. So George Thompson was becoming the board chair at KGH, and Mike Hickey was taking over from me at Hotel Dieu. So the four of us started meeting. And we met at the School of Business, and we stood in front of a whiteboard, and we drew out the simplest chart of what we thought KHSC could look like. And it was funny, the other day I actually found my notes from that original meeting, and they're now in the archives, because funnily enough, it didn't turn out very different from a very rudimentary drawing from that day. And so there were many obstacles to overcome. It did take time, but we got there. And I remember in particular one conversation that sticks with me to this day, and that's the one that I had with the religious hospitallers of St. Joseph, or the Hotel Dieu sisters as they're fondly known. And I remember going to them initially to talk about this idea that we had. And I remember they had two questions for me. Will this new organization bring together the strength and the weaknesses of both sites? And I thought, well, yes, that could be done. And then they said, will it enhance the quality of care for our patients? And will it improve the atmosphere and the environment for our learners and our staff, and possibilities for them? And I said, well, let's hope so. I think so. And to this day, we are very proud of KHSC and that we have accomplished that. And the board of directors strongly supports this decision that was made. And now I'd like to invite our inaugural chair, David O'Toole, to come forward, and he can tell you about the first 5 years.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thinking back on the last 5 years, I can think of the organization that I've been so proud to be affiliated with as meeting an endless sea of challenges, whether it's in the delivery of high quality, compassionate care, or on the research agenda, seeking out intractable problems, complex challenges that need resolution. And it's the creativity and the commitment of David Pecora, Dr. Michael Fitzpatrick, and the entire team at KHSC, which stands out for me as being kind of a hallmark characteristic of the institutions over that 5-year period, as well as the commitment of my board colleagues on the board of KHSC. I think that it's a keystone institution for the entire community in the region. And what I'm leaving my 5 years as a board member with is a sense of thankfulness and confidence in the contribution this institution makes to the community in the region every day. And I think that as citizens of the community and region, you can have confidence that this group of people will meet the challenges of the future in the same way they have of the past. It's been a privilege, and I wish the entire institution all its very best.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you to all of our speakers. That's the end of our official event today. In closing, as we look forward, we know there is still so much more that we can accomplish as we begin to transition out of the pandemic. We will find innovative new ways to deliver new and novel procedures to the communities that we serve, to train the next generation of healthcare providers. And I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Jane Philpott, the Dean of Queen's University Faculty of Health Science, who is joining us today and who is our partner in that mission to train the next generation of healthcare providers. And we will continue to put ourselves on the map as a Canadian leading academic health sciences centre. I'm incredibly excited to see what the next 5 years will bring. Thank you for joining us.